Hello, welcome back to another tutorial. This time we're going to be doing something new. This is actually going to be covering something that has been requested for a very long time that I've just now gotten around to. We're going to be covering how to port weapons from Destiny 2 over into Fallout 4. As you can see right off the bat, I've got a reference for a hand cannon or revolver, whatever you want to call it. This is at the proper dimensions that it needs to be for the game. I've got the exact same thing loaded up right here in Nifskope. So it should be a one-to-one recreation, but we're going to start from the top of things for people who are unfamiliar with the previous process of porting armors. First things first, you're going to need Dare or a Destiny API Ripper extension, and you're going to need that because this is how we get models directly from the API source code via light.gg, other sources like that. As you can see, I've already ripped it because it's right in here. Now, this is from something previous I'll be covering for a different video. But as you can see, everything ripped properly, and it's pretty much good to be plopped right into Blender. So all you have to do is go to File, Import, Collada. You just have to navigate to wherever you have your port path. Mine is exactly where it needed to be. So we've got a few things to contend with here, namely that the model it should have come with its own actual proper skeleton, but it seems like it didn't want to for whatever reason. But that's fine. This is just for demonstrative purposes. I've actually got this already pretty much ripped previously, and I actually need the armature to be done properly. So I'm gonna pull it from the source. Oh no! Okay, so it turns out I have a different file on hand. I have two different computers, and one actually has the proper source needed for the armatures to pull out. So we're going to have to do it live, but that's fine. So right off the bat, you can tell that the hand cannon that I've just ripped, it's at an improper sizing, and it's in a different place where it should not be. So first things first, I'm going to press RZ180. RX90, and I'm going to press S to enlarge, and I think 7 is going to be the magical number, or maybe not. Let's try 6. Yeah, okay. After that, I'm going to press G, then Y, and just drag it down to where it needs to be about, and I'm going to press G and Z. Just keep aligning it till it looks right. You might have to resize things on occasion. Most of the time, this process is just eyeballing it. There's no exact number just yet. Mostly because it has been a while for me that I've done this process. So we'll both be refamiliarizing ourselves here. But once you've got it pretty much to where you think you need it to be, you're basically done here. And yeah, the OCD part is the most annoying aspect of it. But this looks like it's good. I'm going to go back to material view, because sometimes it might be pink. And if that is, that's going to be really annoying for... Okay, looks like it actually came in properly. So right off the bat, because I've already loaded up the textures and everything, it's as it should be. I'm not going to get into that aspect. It's going to take up too much time. So we're going to right immediately do a few things. So I'm going to rename a few of these for ease of access. Oh, wait. So that way, when I do rename them in the actual and then, or the Outfit Studio aspect, it'll make it easier to really get the point across. So, I don't know why you're there. Just cleaning up a few things, and okay. So I need to rename a bunch of these because when I export this from Blender to Outfit Studio, I'm gonna get all these numbers that you can see on the right, and I really do not need those. So I'm gonna combine a few things. Ooh. But I'm also gonna have to clean a few others as well up. So we need to, I'm gonna actually go back to that. We need to first to verify that I've actually cleaned up the loose files. Seems like I've done that. Well done. And I need to separate this hammer from the actual other piece of the mesh. So I'm going to select on the piece that I have. I'm going to hit Tab. And I'm going to hit P. Separate by loose pieces. There's also another way you can do that. You don't necessarily have to separate by loose pieces. You can go into UV Editor, check the texture, and I can see that the chicken head piece that I need is right here. I'm just hiding everything. Now this is a little bit more time consuming. I personally don't really do that unless I absolutely have no other choice, because I find it far much more easier to just do this. And that pretty much is easy enough of a process to just go and find everything else that I need, and it seems like it's all ready to be found. So with that being said, I can do what I was previously doing. Now if I wanted to, I could separate the grip right here. I don't particularly want to. That's all just personal choice here. But it is an optional thing. So so you want to check before you start joining things whether or not they have the same material. You can check it here or in this place right here. I know for a fact that they do, so I'm not too worried about it, because if I had joined two things that had separate material, you would see that they don't. Thankfully, these two share the same texture path, because you can see right here. So I can feasibly join these, no problem. But that's only if I've already baked the textures out, which I've done in a previous porting, so don't really have to worry about that. But again, we're just gonna rename some things. This is the most annoying aspect, but you get used to it after a while. And what are you? Oh, you're a separate light. Okay. I don't really need two of those. Oop, actually. What just happened? Problem is, this process, you work at a mile a minute, and you don't really pay attention to things half the time, so you have to be careful about that. So, okay. I could have to separate those two as well. What would I call that again? Cylinder, right. Okay, and this would... Okay, so I think this is going to be called the ammo. This is going to be crane. Now, you don't really have to remove all these pieces if you don't particularly want to. It just makes it easier when you're looking at things in Nifskope to figure out what is what, and it makes it so much more easier on you in the long run versus just having to go, okay, this is that number, this is that number. It saves yourself some time. Don't stress yourself out if you can avoid it. And you are nearly done. I don't actually think I'm going to need the reticule here, because when I aim down at sights, it's completely optional. I'm not personally going to use it. That's completely up to you. I mean, really, I don't need the light here too, but I'm going to keep it for decorative purposes. But as we can see, we've got everything ready to go. Just in case, I'm going to clean up a few things by merging by distance. You can see when you do that, you have a noticeable effect on the mesh itself. That's completely up to you. Some people would say don't do it. I'm of the mind that some pieces actually do need it. This is really only going to be a noticeable effect if you're going to be weighing objects. I'm not going to be, so we should be fine, but certain things I will do anyway. So now I've got exactly what I needed to do. Now I've got, let's see, where are you? Okay. So I've got the textures already baked out, like I've stated previously. Yes. So the way we go about baking is, what that means, first off, is that if we look at the two textures, this is the base undyed and unmessed with texture. This is the one that's been baked out already or colored in. You can see right off the bat there's a few things that are noticeable in terms of the difference of it. You could manually color this yourself, or you could use Blender to do it for you. So the way we go about that first is, I'm going to have to hide a few things first. And no. Okay. So I'm going to rejoin everything. Because I need the things that have the same material to be all in one. Now the reason for that is I'm going to go right here to this render property, scroll a little bit down, and I'm going to go to add, texture, image texture, and I'm going to switch every material to bake. So that'll tell me right off the bat it's ready to start baking in. Now, when I bring this new image texture in, you're going to see that it's going to give me an option to do new or open. I'm going to hit new. And by default, it's going to be at 1024 by 1024. And then you could select bake type to emit or combined. I personally prefer combined, because if I do emit, when I hit bake, it keeps the black alpha in the background, which is fine if you're not concerned about needing alpha. I personally prefer to have it blank. And as you can see, it is about the same as this. So you pretty much can put this anywhere you want. It doesn't really matter. You can save it as. But right before we even get started on everything, I need these textures to not be in PNG format. I need them to be in DDS. So how you go about doing that is going to be up to you. You could use Paint.net, you could use Photoshop, you could use GIMP, any texture editing program of your choice. It 100% needs to be in DDS. There is no way around it. So if you do not have a texture program capable of converting things to DDS, you need to get on that ASAP before you begin. That is, and I cannot stress that enough, important. Now, as you can see, I'm bringing some things over, and you have options as far as baking goes. You can bake the metal, the roughness, whatever, yada yada, you feel like you need to. I don't. Oh, looks like I've already done. Okay. just going to transfer a few things over. Okay. So the reason why we started with the mag first is, again, it starts out at 10,000 by 10, or yeah, 1024 by 1024. But if I look at the barrel, 2048 by 2048. So that's why I started with that. Generally, it just makes it easier, a little bit less time consuming. But like I said, I've already baked these, so I don't really have to worry about doing it all over. What I will do, however, is Control-C my way back. Oops, that's not good. No matter. Maybe... yeah, you know what, screw it, it's fine. It's easy enough, redo. Sometimes, sometimes you gotta suffer a little bit to get a point across, but it's an easy enough thing to just redo. So... okay, that should do it. Okay, perfect. Let's do that because I'm not liking the way it's coming out. No matter. So, just got to combine these pieces again right here. Just rename a few things. Also, if you hear a cat in the background, that's mine. She's just outside because she cannot sit still. And I need her to not run around and jump on things while I'm filming this because I don't want to be disturbing you guys with that. And that should do it. So now I'm going to export this as object, wavefront. Put it whatever you want. You can name it whatever you want. I usually just use this right here to make it easier on myself. Then I'm going to go into Outfit Studio. And wait for it to pop up. I'm going to import as object. Find the name that I just put in. And as you can see, it has exported correctly or imported correctly. So I'm going to re-export it out because if I say if I plop this into what I'm about to plug into a different program, all of this would be one little blob, and I need that to be separate. And that is where we'll begin part 2.